Hey everyone, my name is Shauna and welcome to the first episode of the AlphaMax DarkAdvent Sofia Relax version figure build along. So, this is the first episode of the first series, the first ever series of this kind of deal where we're going to be building a model kit together on camera. Yeah, it's just simple. Yeah. I am by no means a pro or like above average at doing these. I've just done quite a few of them where I kind of know the tips and tricks I can maybe give to new people. Just show you the basics. Okay, so for any of my regular scale figure watchers, if you're watching this video and you have a slight interest in model kits, I will be talking a little bit about how it's done, some of the tools you'll need, stuff like that. And for those of you who are just here for the figure, welcome, I guess. So let's just get into it. So you open the box. There you go. This is the decal sheet. I'll show you how to apply decals. Then you've got all your different runners. And then of course, the instruction book. So it kind of shows you everything you need. It even tells you up here, although this is in Japanese, but and it just gets started right away. And this one's actually in color, which I have never seen one in color before. It's probably not that unique, but before we get into the actual building, I'll show you some stuff about what you need to get started. Now these, in my opinion, are the most basic tools you'll need to just build a model kit. You don't necessarily need sandpaper and stuff. We'll get into that later, but having different grades, grit, finer grit for like a more polished sanding to finish it. And then this is a more rough stick that you can use to smooth things out, but again, you'll get that more later. Obviously, you need a knife, nice and sharp hobby knife. You can buy them pretty much any hobby store. And I definitely recommend getting extra blades if you plan on doing more than one model kit, because depending on how big the model kit, one model kit can do one blade to like dull to nothing. It becomes dangerous to start using a dull knife, so you'll have to push harder and then you can hurt yourself, which by the way, this is not caused by model kit. I don't know how this happened. Then you'll need one of these. Basic nippers is what they call them. Don't get the most dirt cheap ones you can find. You don't need to buy the most expensive one either, because they can go up to like 50 bucks, but just a medium grade because they'll stay sharper longer, and also try to get one with a spring in it so it bounces back. And finally, Tamiya extra thin cement. This stuff is not necessary because most kits these days do not need gluing, but there are certain parts in the instruction manual where they suggest gluing some smaller parts to it because they are so small they're easy to pop off. And finally, I have this. This is just another rougher grit of sandpaper I use to really smooth down stuff if I need to, but I would recommend having some sort of something, a dish, some sort of plate or something. I just use a paper plate, obviously, something you don't care about. Because when you're cutting stuff and doing finer details, you can drop your pieces, and if it's a little piece and it just drops and flies off, who knows where it goes. I've almost lost a couple of pieces, and it was always because I was shaving it distractedly not over the plate. But let's just go ahead and get started. So let's start with the book, open it right up, and it'll show you just what you're doing. So it looks like we're starting with her head. So what I do is it tells you which runner they come from. So we've got, I don't know if you can, yeah, it's pretty far away. We've got F, G, C, H, J. So quite a bit of different ones, and then some D's in there. So you just pull them out, and in they'll always have this big cutout for what it is. So, oh man, these scissors are So dull. Okay, there we go. Used those back in high school some 10 years ago. And we do need H also, so I'll also open this one. You can use your hobby knife to just cut along it if you want to, but I try to preserve the blade as much as possible by not cutting unnecessary things. That's why I have a whole separate knife that you see me use in my unboxing videos that I just use for like tape and stuff. So, these are the two we'll need. Keep your sheets until you're done so you can put them back in case don't finish your model kit in one sitting. Slide them back in. All right, let's just go on though. Need some J's. And we need, is it just me or does that totally look like a U? All right. So I have all my parts here. Not all of them, not all of these will be used yet, which is why I keep the plastic bags. But it looks like we start with F1 and G1, which are these side parts. So I get my little plate here, but I will come up closer to the camera for this. So what I start with is the basic nippers. As you can see, this is the runner, this is the part. You have the injection mold piece right here. So I take the nipper, go about that far away from it, and snip it. Leaves a little extra bump here, but that's what your hobby knife's for. So I go to the other one, get close, but not too close. Oh man, snip it. These are getting dull. I've used these for probably 8 model kits now. And yeah, I probably need to either learn how to sharpen them or get new ones. So yeah, there's a slight little piece here that obviously you don't want in your final kit. So you get it in your hand, your non-dominant hand obviously, and hold it in a way to where you can get a good grip on it and no fingers are around the piece. So when you go in with the knife and cut, you don't cut yourself. Now, I really get my hands in close, not like any willy-nilly crap like that. Get in real close, usually with my thumb on the back of the blade. You go in, not too flush, but pretty flush, and you cut through. And you gotta really try not to gouge into the actual piece. Try to stay on the surface as much as possible. And I usually do a little bit of a slice, like pushing in, so there's not just blunt force pushing it through and damaging the plastic beneath. I'll do a cut and show you what it looks like when you're done. All right, so what I do is I get right over my thing and I find the piece. Wow, this plastic's really, really strong. Not used to this hard to cut. But then, once you push it out one way, I like to flip it around and push it from the other side. And this is the one tedious part about model kits. It's really fun to build them, but sometimes, especially when you got a really complex one, this is the biggest demotivator maybe. So you can rub your thumb across it to feel if there's any raised edges. And if there's not, you're good. Now this one I did pretty good on, and considering the color of the plastic, you can't really see anything left behind. If I do end up with something like a little mark or damage, I'll show you how to fix it later. Well, then I take the piece that I just cut and place it on the instruction book where it's supposed to go. Some pieces can start looking the same. Most of them you can tell the difference without knowing their numbers when you only take out the ones you need, so it's not that difficult. But let's just keep going. Oh, and I guess I also didn't mention plate. It's not just for catching pieces in case you drop them. When you cut off the little nubs, you start getting little plastic pieces everywhere. This will catch all those pieces, so you don't have to worry about them kind of getting everywhere. Even with this, they still can fly off, which is, if you are an old viewer, I used to wash my table off every time before a video because I worked on model kits a lot with painting and plastic would get everywhere. So yeah. So, now that you have your two pieces, here's a good example actually. It just says to connect them, which means it snaps without glue. Right here, you'll see this little drippy drop thing. It's a suggestion. You don't always have to. You can kind of put it in and see how well it sticks, but that means it's suggesting that you glue that piece there. And this symbol means you can choose between these two hair pieces. All right, so we've got I need to take this band-aid off, but okay, then you then you snap them together nice and tight. Ooh, this model kit so far is really good. Like, that seam is gone. You can barely tell these were two different pieces to start off with. I like that a lot. Well, I guess I'll explain the sandpaper real quick. So, if you are using the knife and cutting some stuff and you cut a little more than you like or it gets a little uneven, that's when you can pull out the sandpaper. So you get a more rough one and you just focus in on that one area it's messed up in and kind of smooth it out with the rest of the plastic. Then you get your finishers, which are just increasing levels of grit. They get finer and finer and finer. So you start with one, you move to the next one, you move to the next one, you move to the next one, and you do the final one, and by the end, you can barely tell you sanded it to begin with. So that's kind of what the sandpaper's for. I've gotten better over time to where I don't need to do that as much, but obviously I still have it in case I do. Now that I'm done with this, I actually keep my plastic runners because I've seen some videos on YouTube of people keeping them and like melting them down to reuse them to fix stuff. I've never done it. It looks hard, but why the heck not, right? Let's move on to the next part, which is C, H1, and yada yada yada. By the way, well, I mean, it's pretty obvious, but the C is this, and then the 5, you'll see it very small. Probably hard for you to see, but there's little numbers on each one. Also, I will not be painting this kit. I won't talk about painting yet, mainly because I'm not very good at it, so I don't feel like I can justify teaching anyone how to paint when I'm not the best at it. I've almost finished painting my Megami device Azra Archer, and I'll do like a showcase video of it when I'm done, but again, it won't be that impressive, so I'm not expecting much from it. All right, we've got this far, and I've been recording for 30 minutes, but that's just the name of the game. But of course, for you, I did a time lapse, so it was much shorter. Next is the face and the bangs, and as you can see, there are 6 heads included in total. Only one of them is pre-printed. The rest you have to apply the decals yourself. So we'll stick with the normal face for now, and I'll use these later. Maybe another video. This video, I don't know if this video is going to be one long video or not, but I'll show you how to do decals later on those faces. So let's go. A very nicely done face though. Hopefully I can live up to that same quality when I put the decals on myself. Oh, we'll just have to wait and see. And there's the head. Looks really good. I really like the build. It's different than other model kits I've done so far in my time, and it looks really good. The seams are borderline unnoticeable, just a little bit here at the bottom, but it looks good. So now we'll move on to the torso, and I think we'll see. I'll either do a time lapse again, or I'll try and talk while I do it. Which may or may not be a good idea, but I figured I could talk about stuff I don't really talk about in any other video because it's irrelevant. Alright, so let's start with getting all the pieces out. So we need D's, B's, J, I, J, I, so D, B, J, I. So we got D, B, I. One of the things I did want to talk about is anime I've been watching. So I recently rewatched the entire The Great Jahi Will Not Be Defeated, or because of the review I'm doing, I remembered how much I liked that show, so I was like, I should rewatch this. Rewatched the whole thing. I forgot just how good it is. It's really funny. And after that, I don't know what caused me to decide on this one next, but next I watched Uzaki-chan Wants to Hang Out, because there's a second season I haven't seen yet. So I started back from the beginning. So I rewatched the first season and then the second season. And that was when I also realized that Uzaki has the same voice actress as Jahi, which made it kind of funny and weird. Because, yeah, all I could hear was well, not all the time. She does talk a little different at times, but other times, all I could hear was Jahi. It's like, yep, that's Jahi. And then Jahi and Uzaki also have the same voice actress as Satanya from Gabriel Dropout, if you've seen that. So when I started watching Jahi, all I could hear was Satanya at first. But in the end, you get used to it pretty quick, and it's really fun. Uzaki Wants to Hang Out. That show is way funnier than I remember, because I don't know. That's another thing about anime sometimes though, is you watch it one time and it's pretty funny and you're like, yeah, that was a good one. But then you watch it again and you don't like laugh again, like the whole time you watch it. It's like, huh. It's kind of weird. You're like, oh, what? Was it really just not that funny? But nope, when I rewatched it, I still laughed out loud quite a bit. Like that show a lot, more than I remembered liking it. And after that, I was rereading the Rent-A-Girlfriend manga, just cause I've run out of manga to read at home, like physical copies kind of. So I was rereading one that I already have read before. And I saw a bonus comic where the girl from Senryu Girl was in it. And I was like, oh, that anime where she like can only talk by writing and poetry or something. So I watched that last night, finished the whole thing in one sitting. It's short. It's 12 episodes, but there are 12 minutes per episode, and there's like credits at the end. So, and if you skip the intro and ending sequence, which I know some people think that's terrible, but I don't care. I'm not gonna watch the same. Like when I'm binge watching a show, I'm not gonna watch the same intro and outro every time. That's a whole that's in some shows that is 3 minutes you're wasting. So times that by 12. It's 36 minutes. That's a whole episode you're wasting. Okay, getting a little sidetracked with the talking here, but looks like there's 2 different options for tops. Okay, yeah, there is. So D2, they're still the same. Okay. So yeah, I definitely recommend Send New Girl if you haven't watched it. Pretty sure it's on Sentai or High Dive and Crunchyroll. And Uzaki Wants to Hang Out is on Crunchyroll now that the Funimation merger happened, but it should still be on Funimation because I think they're still running their business or whatever. You can still subscribe to Funimation for some reason, and they still have some of their shows that haven't switched over yet to Crunchyroll, which is a little annoying. Maybe they've all come over by now, but I don't think so. But yeah, if from what I've just said so far, you probably have a good idea of the kind of anime I watch. Shoujo anime, or not shoujo, B shoujo anime. I don't watch shonen, even though some shows are considered shonen, like Rent a Girlfriend I think is considered shonen anime, even though I'm pretty sure it's basically B shoujo, in my opinion. But I guess it's all opinion based sometimes. Oh yeah, and I also watched the newest season of Non Non Biyori, which is honestly one of the best anime of all time. I mean, that kind of tells you right there my anime taste, right? If I can sit here and say Non Non Biyori is one of the best anime ever, which it just is from my own personal tastes, it's just so good. Then you could probably start to see what kind of anime I watch. So if you have any recommendations, feel free to leave them in the comments. There's a high chance I've watched them already, or depending on your suggestions, I will not watch them at all. But yeah, I'm currently right now, I'm not sure which one to watch next. Watched everything I had on my mind that I wanted to watch, so I'm kind of like, Because also, I'm not much of a seasonal anime watcher because the wait between episodes is killer. I can't handle that pressure. No, I'm definitely one of those people who likes to just watch as many episodes in a row of a show as I can, preferably when the show is fully released, because it all happens fresh in your mind. You don't have to worry about rewatching anything to catch up. I'm definitely one of those people who kind of forgets what happens week to week if I'm watching it seasonally, as they come out. There are shows in the past I watched as they came out. Pretty sure Rent a Girlfriend was one of them. Yes, I know that show is terrible, but at the same time, it's good. It just is. It's just not. It just is. I'm not blind enough or oblivious or so stuck in my fandom that I can't see what is what. And yeah, Rent a Girlfriend is not really that good of an anime. It's not one that I would ever recommend, really. I kind of want to watch an anime. What do you recommend? Rent a Girlfriend, yeah. But I can't deny that it just captures my interest, and I guess we should be honest here. Since if you're watching this and you're still here, you're a dedicated viewer probably. Or you're just here for the build along and you want me to shut up. But yeah, if you're here and you've watched it this far, I guess I could tell you that Chizuru is probably one of my favorite anime waifus. I don't really get into that stuff, the whole waifu wars and all that, but from my personal real life tastes, way Chizuru acts when she's Chizuru Ichinose and not the Rent a Girlfriend Chizuru Mizuhara, I really like her, taste-wise. So, yeah, I'll just leave it there. Yes, and also, yeah, I understand, Kazuya is so dumb and annoying, as a character, but at the same time, it's like relatable because, I mean, that's the thing. I feel like that show is only worth watching or can even handle watching it if you've had no luck with love in your life. It's just true, man. 'Cause if you've had real girlfriends and stuff, you probably like, or you kind of know how to act around a girl and stuff. Probably don't get it. You're like, what is this crap? This guy's an idiot. But tell you what, man. All of you people out there who are in the loner club, ever had a girlfriend? What the heck is wrong with his piece? There we go. I'm right there with you. Oh, dude, it wants to come apart. So I recommend gluing this? No. Maybe I did it wrong. It really doesn't want to stay in. But if I glue it, it won't turn. All right, that's good enough. Got the neck. Nice, fully, not fully positional, but pretty good neck. You probably could barely see that. Cue the time lapse again. Alright, here is an example of a little bit of rough cutting where the color, it's very obvious on black plastics usually, is you can kind of see where it was cut even after I trimmed it down pretty smoothly. And one way to fix it is either use your thumbnail and really rub across that little white area. I don't know why this works, but as you can see, it's much less noticeable. Or if you have a black Gundam marker, you can just, that's the thing, is this color is a little off black, so I might not ever use it on this, but it works for most dark colors, is you kind of just color in the little white area, let it sit. It hides it usually pretty well. So let's just do a quick another time lapse and I'll show you what I finished so far. Alright, so as you can see, we've got the main torso piece here, and it allows you create two separate bust pieces, one with attachments for this shirt in the back. Plug in these ball joints, do the other one, and you put, I guess you do that after or before. That doesn't matter, okay. So you can do this and have her wear the little, whatever you call this. I'm not a girl, okay? I don't know what you would call this flappy stuff. But so yeah, it's like a whole separate piece. But for the sake of simplicity, we'll just stick with the normal and the head. Yeah, it looks pretty, oh yeah, it's nice and tight but loose still. It's got some pretty good posability in the neck. Yeah, this is what we got so far, and it's looking pretty good. Also, forgot to mention, it's always good to have a little plastic bag handy to put the extra pieces like this in, and just toss them in there. Anyways, thank you for watching. As I said, we'll continue on with more episodes. Next one, we'll do their body, arms, and legs. Hopefully we can get all that done in one video. Then we'll build her accessories, because she comes with, doesn't even show it. Yeah, she comes with a table, a pillow, and this little plush thing that's like a mech plush thing. And then we'll do decals, and I'll show you how to do that at the end. It also has paint. If you want to paint her, I'll probably will not be painting her, because she is so simple. I don't really feel like I need to paint her, but yeah. thanks for watching. I've been Shauna. I wish you the best of luck in all your figure collecting and model making adventures. Farewell, my friends.